Okay.
Is this an extension of what you've done?
Yeah.
Or is this going into another direction?
Superhood. This is growth.
Is it?
Like, even with Superhood being such a street record, what I do first, I always put out a street record first.
Right.
Because that's just in me.
Right.
I give people something to move to, but then I go into like my official single, and that's singing. Because you're a singer. You know how I go in the especially live. Girl, you a flat-footed singer. Thank you. You are too. Like thank you. But it's about you right now. Super hood. So you got City Girls, Cash Doll. Yeah. Tell us about it. Well, it's a fun record. It is. It's like fun talking about the type of dudes we like. Like I used to always say I wanted a dude to have some gold teeth.
Did you really?
Dreads, that's what I thought I wanted.
And what happened?
That's not what I want.
That's not what you want?
I wanted that for a long time. I want a grown man, you know, but he still got to have some hood on.
My biggest problem with this mentality, and I hear this a lot, especially coming from black women, this is basically the African-American equivalent of I like bad boys, right? I like hood dudes. But my problem with it is we have these things that float around like protect black women, right? But these will be the same women that say that they like hood dudes. When you make a culture where the women worship the men that are part of the problem, you're gonna have more men that are part of the problem. And it's honestly a shame because there are so many good black dudes that are part of our culture that are great representations that just don't get the credibility because they're not entertainers, because they're not athletes. Right? We got Orlando Minor, one of the best real estate channels on YouTube. I've been watching him for weeks at a time, binging all his videos. 7-figure, almost 8-figure portfolio, teaching other African-American men how they can get into real estate. We got Anton Daniels, a multi-millionaire, also teaching men and women alike how they can become more successful, right? But you don't ever get that representation because women, they just don't like those men. Let's just be completely honest. Was Jordan Peele getting any kind of play from any black women before he became famous? Was Will Smith getting any kind of play from black women before he became famous? No. These dudes were in school doing theater. Let's just keep it a buck. Ain't no black women dating no black man that's in school doing theater. Let's just be completely honest. But then once these dudes become millionaires, then they go and look back like, oh, these dudes ain't protecting black people. But y'all ain't want nothing to do with them when they was on their grind, right? Y'all wanted all the hood dudes. Y'all wanted the entertainers because they didn't give you what you wanted. You'll chase them for decades. And when you find out they're not going to give you what you want, you become resentful of all black men. That makes no sense. 59% of all African-American men are single. About 65% of all African-American men are in the middle or upper class. There's no excuse for not being able to find a man.
It's funny, we quote you coming out the break, you were saying about the record, can't raise a man, you saying that still rings true, right?
Oh my God. You cannot raise them, but y'all have to sing it so much, and women every time. You can't raise a man. I don't know what y'all men out there doing, but y'all need to be raised. Y'all need to do something, because these women is mad. When that song come on, it be like war. Max.
So what's changed in your perspective, in your current relationship? You don't feel like you're in that situation right now?
Talking all that in a relationship. That's crazy.
I feel like we all are in this situation. My dude, he's very mature. He's mature, but I do have issues, you know? And I have had some really awful men. A lot of them here in Atlanta, you know you're awful. Here in Atlanta, you know you're awful. How awful, like how? They're like, look what they're doing. Ooh, what they doing? Like, you know, from just cheating, and then we know around here we can't just sleep around no more. That's your life.
You said something really interesting. You come on, you said you like me. Like you go from one extreme to the next all the time. Let me ask you a question. Because Nina and I were talking about this other day, and Nina made a statement to me. She said, you know what? When people meet each other, they should know, you know, in a relationship, what each other's trauma is, so that you really know the person.
Yeah.
What's K. Michelle's trauma?
Men. Wow. The center, I once said, what was the center, like, of my pain, of my life? I didn't have anybody, knock on wood, no one close to me die or anything like that. Everything that I've gone through has been because of lack of self-esteem and men being in the middle.
Self-esteem.
What do you mean? Explain that. Like,
I don't think men are good people. Wait, you think that now? All men. I don't think they're good people. Why not?
She has zero accountability.
Welcome to Battle
She has
Royale.
zero
The match is
accountability.
about to start.
You talk about only wanting to date hood dudes.
Time for
Right?
the mission.
You talk about only
Get
wanting
ready.
to date hood dudes, only date athletes and entertainers. And then you talk about big life goals. But the problem that you have is men affecting your self-esteem, which is esteem of self, which means you control your own self-esteem. Zero accountability. If you're not ready to deal with the kind of person you are and trying to fix the problems that you have within yourself, get out of the dating market. If you're resentful towards men, if you don't like men, get out of the dating market. You're wasting people's time. Nobody previous troubles that you have, past relationships, because you date athletes and entertainers and they cheat. No man wants to deal with that bad.
The reason for that, I truly believe that. The reason for that is like men to of like cheating. You know that that's going to destroy your confidence anyway. That's not a mistake. We've watched the same story over and over again. And just because I'm a woman, I'm supposed to accept your betrayal. Right. Because you're taking advantage of my love for you, and I'm supposed to be the one behind you riding or die. I'm not dying with nobody. And to see girls come up to me, I'm the girl they come up to all day long crying. They tell me the most disgusting of stories that I couldn't even believe. And a lot of times men, the wrong man, will stunt your growth as a woman. Women could be doctors, lawyers, and everything, but they in the bed crying over what a man did to them.
So how is that raising a man then? Because you have a son who's turning 16.
That's why I don't want to raise another.
So you believe a lot of the self-esteem issues in these women, and for you even, are coming from men and their perception of what
Friendly
women
canine
are to
unit
be.
incoming.
How we supposed to look. Now they want to date outside the race. Make you feel like that, like you need some curly hair, or you need to do something. You know what I'm saying? It's not set up.
What do you say to men that say what you went through?
You have to say it. It's in your actions. It's in your, ways. It's what I see.
The revived
If
flight will
I
arrive in
see
1
that,
minute.
it's what you see. So you look at that. If you want that type of, attraction, then you do things like that. Sometimes people do it for themselves.
Exactly. You want that type of dude. And this is what happened, especially with the effects of Instagram. Because women are okay, that's a fact, right? We all know that women are hypergamous. That is just a fact. Women, to some degree, are hypergamous. Some women are more hypergamous. Some women are less hypergamous. But women tend to date across the time. That's just how it works, right? Because a lot of women are trying to shoot for the stars nowadays and only date the top 10% of men, they're looking at who is and generally speaking, you see women with exaggerated features. That does not mean that top 10% of men are attracted to and will have and will sleep with. Won't marry, but will sleep with men with these with women that have these curves. That does not mean that is what
The safe
most
zone is
average men
elapsing.
want. Most average men don't want women with
Friendly canine unit
most
incoming.
average men don't want to marry women that look like them. Most average men just want regular women. But since some women are so tunnel vision focused on these top 10% of men, them and try to look like all the girls that they want, they'll go out and get flat spend hundreds of dollars on makeup, jump through all these hoops just to get the attention of this small group of men, and that's not the preference of most men. It's just not. So nobody really wins in this situation. You have women that have just horrible self-esteem because they're comparing themselves to the women that are around this top 10% of men, and that's not real. It's fake.
But I did it at first because I already had butt.
Yeah, you
I
already
just
had
wanted
shit.
some more.
So was there a trigger point? You spoke about the strong male figures that you had in your life. Was there like one point in time as you got older that made you have that self-esteem issue where you wanted to alter your body?
Airdrop incoming.
I think it was the industry. I think it was just, I was entering that business. Like I had got my first record deal. And I said, I'm not going to sign this record deal because I was so insecure I didn't have any boobs.
So how is
So
that
I'm
a
not going to
man's
sign
fault?
this record deal
The
until you
revived
guys
flight
give
will
me
arrive
boobs
in
and
1
teeth.
minute.
How is that
That's
a
what
man's
it
fault?
started with. You
Don't
know,
get it.
I got to be prepared to stand up there next to my favorite.
So that pressure
Airdrop
wasn't from the
has been
label,
delivered.
that was you.
Yeah, that wasn't them. They paid for it.
for, but they didn't pressure me to do anything. I've never had a body fight with Recollect. So then why do you feel that pressure to do it then? Like, I just saw it, and I thought...
Friendly canine unit incoming.
And it came strong, and I saw it, and I wanted it. So I was like, okay, I need this, because this is how these successful girls have this. So this is my shot. So I want to be successful, and I want to feel beautiful, and I want to be ready to be the best. You know, did it help you? No. I was like in magazines and things and on, you know, like People magazine, sexiest people. Who cares once the magazine is ripped? You know, like...
I gotta be honest, it hurts.
Exactly.
I'm a single guy.
And I just want to say this quickly. So she just admitted that she did it for herself and to further her own career. Those are selfish reasons. That has nothing to do with the preference of majority of men. You did not do it because you want, or you did not do it because men are pressuring you to do it. You did it because you wanted to go further in your career. And a lot of times
Friendly
that
canine
happens.
unit
A
incoming.
lot of women do things. They go to that hotel room at 2 a.m. to play check. You went there because you wanted to further your career. Now, it didn't further your career. when you
Airdrop
went to that
incoming.
hotel room that night. So now you go back 15 years later and find yourself like it happened. Now, I will say again, because you always got to throw the disclaimer out. If there's a man that is forcing himself on a woman, he should be put under the prison. Everybody agrees with that. Everybody has sisters, mothers, daughters that they don't want to be affected in that way. But if you're doing that because you want to further your career, and that's what you're doing it for, when it doesn't work out for you, don't then complain and bring up false allegations and try to destroy a man's life. That's just not how the game should work. Let's keep going.
By myself. I think I'm a good
Airdrop
guy.
has
I
been
ain't a
delivered.
perfect guy, but I think I'm good.
You a good guy.
Thank you, Jade. And it hurts me to hear you as a black woman say that you
The
have
revived
issues
flight will arrive in 1
with
minute.
all men.
Yeah.
What can somebody do to change your perception, or is that something that you feel you just gonna carry the rest of your life?
Zip it ain't
So your guy gonna have to come and sit and talk to me. But as far as like dating or try every day, or she's gonna say,
Friendly canine unit incoming.
God put you on a pedestal to heal and talk to women for some reason. So every day you're approached like, this how am I supposed to be? Oh, it's good men, because I don't know them. I haven't met them, other than my grandfather. You know what I'm saying? And my father, I don't know those other men.
Are you
So
in a relationship now, though?
Yeah, I'm in a relationship
Like,
now,
what about
and
talking?
he has his ways with him. And I'm very cold. I'm very, I'm very...
Airdrop incoming.
Like,
A wall up.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like that.
What does he say about that?
Oh, he just tries to, I think, kind of ignore it, or he knows it's an issue, because imagine sitting around writing these songs.
Airdrop has been
Yeah,
delivered.
it was my content. Like, I would say I can't date you unless I can write a song about you, period. So he knows the content is probably about him, right?
Can I ask this question? Because a lot of men are hitting me because I did a live stream, and they're asking me this question. Have you ever...
That's exactly what I was about to say. I cheated after I was cheated on. Was it in response to being cheated on, or you just wanted to and didn't because they hadn't yet? I'm naturally not a super sexual person. I don't like to be poked a lot. So I don't have to have men like around. So once I pick one man,
revived
I'm
flight will
generally
arrive in 1
normally
minute.
with them.
collapsing. Friendly canine unit incoming.
Yeah, but I can be very like spiteful. So if I see you do that, I'm gonna give
Airdrop incoming.
Two wrongs don't make
That's
sense.
crazy.
Right. Yeah, but if I'm gonna, I do that. I've done that before. Now, right now, I wouldn't do that. I'm just done. Are you a Pisces? I'm a Pisces.
I'm a Pisces
Of
too.
course you're a Pisces. Of course you're a Pisces. Yo,
The revived flight will arrive in 1
Why
minute.
stick around in a relationship if it's not healthy? Okay.
this relationship has its healthy points. You know, we have some babies about to be put in. I have a surrogate with him. Yeah. But the thing is, we've been friends for like 20 years. So I met him. I was the girl in high school that he always wanted. So I met him.
Oh, my goodness.
And we've been dating now for 3 years, and he doesn't have any kids. And I know that regardless of anything, he comes from a great family that I love so much. And I know he'll make an amazing father, regardless.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's go ahead and dissect it all right. So, you don't have a God's gift that women just want to come up to you and tell you their problems. Misery
Friendly
loves
canine
company.
unit incoming.
And they're miserable in that moment, and they want somebody that they can get to that will understand their misery. That's it. You don't have some kind of God. You talk about liking hood dudes. You have no accountability. You talk about liking hood dudes. You talk about being spiteful in your current relationship with a good dude.
Airdrop incoming.
This is Joe. Say hi, Joe. Hi. He's a designer. A great one, I might add. Yes, sir. Honey. You've met honey. It's that sticky sweet stuff. Basically just slightly liquid sugar in a plastic bear bottle, right? Wrong. Honey is a supercharged bacteria-killing powerhouse, and it's all down to what those hardworking bees put into it, from immune proteins to the sugar itself. Since ancient times, honey has been used to prevent wounds from getting infected, and these days we use purified and standardized versions to fight infections in hospitals. Honey has 3 main tricks for fighting bacteria. The first is all that sugar. Honey is only about 17% water. Most, but not all, of what remains is sugar. The 2 main types of sugar in honey are glucose and fructose. Like all sugars, glucose and fructose are sticky. They attract water. Honey is technically a supersaturated solution, meaning it contains more sugar than would normally dissolve at that temperature. That's why it eventually gets all crystally in the pantry. Over time, the sugar comes out of the solution. Chemically speaking, it's desperate for water. Water can travel across cell membranes from where there's a higher concentration of water to where there's a lower concentration. And there's a higher concentration of water in a bacterium than in honey, which means that honey will suck the juices right out of any bacterium or mold or fungus that tries to set up shop. Plus, there isn't enough water in honey for any microorganisms to live on, so they die and the honey doesn't spoil. The second thing is that when bees make honey, they throw in an enzyme called glucose oxidase. And bacteria hate glucose oxidase because it produces 2 different compounds. It converts glucose to gluconic acid and hydrogen peroxide. Gluconic acid is just an acid. It gives honey a pH value of less than 4. That's about 1,000 times more acidic than the neutral pH of 7 that most bacteria need to grow. And hydrogen peroxide is very good at killing cells. It destroys the cell walls of bacteria, which breaks them apart. Glucose oxidase isn't active in ripe honey. There's not enough water for it to work properly. It seems to be there to keep the honey from spoiling while the bees are trying it out. But if you dilute honey, the glucose oxidase will switch back on and make gluconic acid again. The final thing bees do to make honey antibacterial, they put antibiotics in it. Some types of honey contain a protein called B-defensin 1, which is exactly what it sounds like. B-defensin 1 defends bees. It's part of their immune system and protects them from certain bacteria, including ones that cause nasty diseases inside the hive. It's produced in a gland that bees use to make honey, so it makes sense that some of it would make it into the finished product. And while scientists aren't sure how much of the protein really is in honey, it sort of makes sense that bees would use it to protect their food. Another antibacterial compound sometimes found in honey is methylglyoxal. Methylglyoxal is a small organic molecule that forms in honey from a compound in the nectar of certain flowers. There's an especially large amount of methylglyoxal in Manuka honey, a honey made from a New Zealand flower. This honey is so good at killing bacteria that it's actually used in hospitals. There's one bacterium that has honey's number, but only sort of. It's the type of bacteria that causes botulism. The bacteria start out as spores, which are very hard to kill. They're already dried out, so honey's water-sucking properties don't kill them, and because the spores aren't growing, they aren't affected by the acidity or the
Friendly canine unit
The really dangerous part of the bacteria is the botulinum toxin they produce when they grow into mature bacteria. Less than 100 nanograms, that's billionths of a gram, is enough to kill an adult. About 10% of honeys have some botulinum spores in them, but since the spores in honey aren't growing and making toxin, they're harmless to the adults. Our immune systems intercept the spores before they can start growing inside of us. But the immune systems of infants aren't always able to kill those spores before they start growing, so in rare cases, the bacteria can germinate and start producing toxin. That's why it is not safe to give honey to infants under 1 year old, but the rest of us do not need to worry about it. So the next time you're looking for something sweet, go ahead, eat some of bacteria's worst enemy. Thanks for watching this episode of SciShow, which was brought to you by our patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much to all of those people. If you want to be one of those people, you can go to patreon.com/SciShow, and if you just want to keep getting smarter with us, you can go to youtube.com/SciShow and subscribe. We really need bees. The U.S. Department of Agriculture reports that honeybee population is responsible for more than $15 billion in crops.
left. Getting close to victory. Chip terminal is almost ready.
I guess it was worth the wait, folks. This new Bitcoin ETF absolutely on fire. It's become the biggest new ETF launch of the year with record-shattering volume pushing Bitcoin and nearly the entire crypto landscape higher. I want to welcome back the guests who begged me to 2017, maybe even earlier. So tell the audience, what does this mean, though, for...
mainstream adoption. It means that people are taking this seriously. It suggests to me that, in particular, the SEC's stance on Bitcoin is becoming more bullish because if regulators are getting more comfortable with derivatives tied to this cryptocurrency, that means that they're also getting more comfortable with the underlying asset itself. So, very, very bullish outlook for me in terms of Bitcoin.
What would you tell the average investor to buy this ETF?
That's a great question. I mean, I am always something about the internet itself. You should be holding the underlying asset as well.
All right, now, the other coins that maybe dummies like me who missed it despite someone knocking on their door for years, telling them over and over to buy it. What's the opportunity out there, maybe ground floorish, that we should be looking at?
Well, first of all, Charles, you have not missed Bitcoin. As long as the US government continues to print astronomical amounts of money, people are looking to Bitcoin as a store of value. That isn't going away anytime soon. So you have not missed out on the Bitcoin train. I think that everyone should have exposure to Bitcoin. It's just a really vital part of everyone's portfolio. But I mean, if we're looking at other cryptocurrencies out there, there's tremendous innovation in the financial landscape. And these aren't just clone cryptocurrencies trying to do exactly the same thing as the other cryptocurrencies out there. These are assets, new kinds of assets. So, decentralization.
that IRS This is semi-misleading, but I get why people are upset. The reality is not that they can steal your transactions. This is a proposal that, if instituted, would give the IRS access to only two new numbers. Just two. A, gross inflow, and B, gross outflow for the year on accounts where there is a balance of more than 600 or inflow and outflow of more than 600. So it's not access to all transactions, it is simply those two new numbers. A, gross inflow, and B, gross outflow. Now, I can completely understand why even that new information is information that you would not want them to have access to, and I understand why people are up in arms over them being able to have access.
This is Joe. Say hi, Joe.
Hi.
He's a designer.
First blood.
How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Bitcoin just passed $60,000. This is a very exciting time. A lot of cryptos are green here today, and a lot of excitement is
Friendly canine unit incoming.
What's important to realize is that as Bitcoin goes up in price, it's going to be good for the altcoins. The reason that is because altcoin season. When more people push up the price of Bitcoin, eventually they want to sell off Bitcoin and get gains in something else, like Ethereum, lower cap altcoin, and they want better returns than they can get in Bitcoin. So we have this altcoin season where we see a large push in some of the altcoins where they might get huge returns. So today I want to look at some of the best cryptos to buy now. We're going to kind of move down the list from some of the larger cryptos to some of the smaller cryptos that are much more explosive. Now, most of these cryptos I've talked about in some capacity, but one I've not talked about ever on the channel before. A lot of them I have talked about for maybe one video here and there, but this last one I'm going to talk about towards the end of the video on the channel, and it is one of the greatest because it is so small still. If you guys don't mind hitting the like button and the subscribe button, I really appreciate that. Of course, it's not financial advice, but I have been buying a lot of these cryptos over the last couple months, so definitely pay attention to these cryptos. Now, if you don't know, Bitcoin got pushed up last night because of some information that came out that said the SEC will not try to halt the approval of a Bitcoin ETF this Monday. So Bitcoin moved up. You can see some massive buys pushing it from about 57,000 all the way to 59,000 in a few minutes. So this happened last night. And again, this is going to have big implications for some of the other smaller cryptocurrencies. Obviously, I like Bitcoin a lot, but we're not going to include them on this list. We're not going to include Bitcoin. I do think it's going to go up from here, but I'm looking for some better returns from this list here today. Now, I will say one other play that I made that's in the stock market is I actually bought options of a Bitcoin miner maybe 2 weeks ago now. So I bought it about 2 weeks ago, and we're up over 100% on those options. If you guys want to follow me along the way, you can check out the link underneath the video to the Patreon, so that way you can get more information when I buy and sell stocks or crypto. But let's take a look at the first crypto on this list. I think we have to include Ethereum. Ethereum's at 3,800 now, and it's kind of been trading sideways for the last month or so. We've been over this point before. We've been in the $4,400 range, and we just have kind of been trading sideways, but the reserves keep on going down, so there's less Ethereum around.
Airdrop
the
incoming.
Keep on holding on to Ethereum, and the staking keeps on continuing. I've talked about it several times. I'm not going to spend too long on it here today, but Ethereum, I think, is crypto that's big enough that a lot of institutions will buy into it, and with OpenSea trucking along and with Coinbase opening their own NFT platform, I think you have to look at Ethereum. Second of all, we have Cardano. Cardano has been trading sideways for a while here. If we actually go back here and take a look at the last 24 hours, the last 7 days, and the last 30 days, all red. So that's one of the reasons I like Cardano right now. Cardano does this, and it's kind of classic. They trade sideways or negative for a couple weeks, seem like they're doing nothing, and then boom, back at $3 in a few days. I mean, look at what other cryptocurrencies Dogecoin, but they're only down 5% in the 30-day. Then we have Chainlink. There aren't many around that are down like this. So Cardano, with the growth of their ecosystem, with an AMM on the way, with NFTs that are bound to blow up eventually, I think you have to take a look at Cardano. returns on that. I actually use Voyager. I do have a link underneath the video if you want to sign up, but they give 5%. So Cardano, I think you have to take a look at. I think it is going to blow up here in altcoin season. Then Polkadot. This is a crypto that I've done a video on. They announced parachain auctions earlier this week. When that happened, they went from $35 up to $42. So they blew up on this. If you don't know about parachain auctions, if you want to learn more, I do have a video on it, why you need some Polkadot. I put it out earlier this week, but a lot of people are asking me a video how do you actually buy. So some people made literally 100 extra turns with Kusama, which is like a little brother of Polkadot, and they made 100 extra turns with Kusama back in Moon River. So basically what you're doing is you are funding new tokens to a project to try to get them popularity in a way, and win the parachain auction. When they do that, they actually give you their own tokens in the world, and they eventually will give you your tokens back in the end. So if you want to learn how to bond on Polkadot, obviously no one's done it because no one has had the opportunity on Polkadot, but I never did do something either. Like I said,
The revised flight will arrive in 1 minute.
so definitely pay attention to Polkadot. I think Polkadot itself is really well too. I think it probably will go closer to 100 compared to where it is now. As we get closer to those parachain auctions, I can tell you, so Axie Infinity I think is a great crypto if you look long term. The reason I say that is because it's a crypto that should do well over the winter. It's a crypto winter if they have that, so I can see it as a hedge against any kind of down market in the future because people are making that they'll continue to hold Axie just because of the utility. And then VeChain. I have to include VeChain on here too, just because of the fact that they have some big partnerships. They're only 25th right now at $7.4 billion, and they have a lot of utility. Then we have two more. These are the more speculative, high growth plays. So I've talked about this one a lot. I won't talk about it too much here, but Voyager, VGX, I hold it. I'm pretty bullish on it as all the other cryptos continue to move up. I do like Voyager.
Airdrop incoming.
And I think it will continue to rise up in price because of the fact that it gives more and more utility as the other cryptos go up in price, because it actually pays you a higher interest rate on your cryptos on Voyager than that. And then the last one that we have to talk about is Weave. So I've never talked about Weave before. So Weave is a multi-chain NFT platform. So no matter what NFT do it through Weave. So Weave is interesting too because it is a very small crypto. It's a very small market cap. It is the smallest out there that I'm talking about here today. The market cap is $20 million, and they announced a big news. What they announced is news, the price went up about 20% just yesterday. They announced it. So what this is a $250,000 fund to support the first few NFTs on
The revived flight will arrive
so
in 1
they're
minute.
going to build out their own ecosystem, and they put $250,000 towards it. So if you're a developer and you want to work with Wii U, you want your own NFTs, definitely check this out. It's some big news as of yesterday. And then today, the news that pushed it up today is actually that they're working with a huge creator. So they're working with Kwebbelkop, and this is the largest Dutch YouTuber out there. So he has 14 million subscribers and has 65 billion total views. So just know that up front. I'm not telling you what to do, but I think you do have to take a look at it because it is pretty interesting at the market cap it's at now. So they do have a fee. So 25% of the fee is going to you as a holder.
The safe
It's a
zone is
4%
collapsing.
fee, so it's not anything crazy. Automatically burned in the Wii U burn. Converted to BNB and added to the liquidity, and then automatically added to the BNB liquidity pair. That's how it's split up. So 1% basically fee for each of these.
Ready for upgrade.
If you want to take a start, you can just join their Discord community. I'll put it underneath the video. I'll also put their Twitter underneath the video. So you can just take a look at it, try to learn more about the project. You can get it on PancakeSwap, so definitely check that out if you are interested in getting Wii U the token. You do get reflections, like I said, I do have some Wii U and I have been getting reflections, so this project is still early on.
Airdrop incoming.
You get better price appreciation if everything goes well. Now, they have been increasing in price. You can see over the last 7 days, pretty exponentially here. They have been increasing in price, so definitely check them out underneath the video. So that's the list. We have a handful
Friendly
of
K9 unit incoming.
gearing up to be a very exciting end of the year. I'm very bullish about this because I'm exposed to your research. I can't tell you what's going to go tomorrow or next week. Never invest money that you don't have to lose because you could go through another bear market. Just be careful. But I am very bullish. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what cryptos I should be including on this list.
This is Joe. Say hi, Joe. Hi. He's a designer.
You can now get a 30-day trial to experience the Athletic for free. Visit the link in the description below to try it now.
I'm going to talk to you about Lionel Messi, this guy here, who just made his home debut for Paris Saint-Germain. It went pretty well. He hit the bar with a free kick from Wales. Scored. It's a lovely burst from midfield as well. And then
Airdrop incoming.
For Ashraf Hakimi, who is right back. That's a tactical substitution to take off the world's best ever player. Let's look at what that was and whether it was a good substitution or not.
Airdrop has been delivered.
So, we've tried to find the last time that Lionel Messi was taken off as a substitute, and the best we can do is that last season he was subbed against Granada. He'd already scored 2 when they were 4-0 up away from home. It's kind of fair, give him a bit of a rest. And in the 2019-20 season, he was substituted, having already registered an assist against Villarreal while coming back from injury. He missed the 4 games.
Location exposed.
So I can understand why that is. He really wasn't very happy with being taken off in this game against Real, and this is how the teams looked. Now, PSG's shape is it's like a 4-2-3-1 with Messi. You think
The revived
it's a 10,
flight will
but in
arrive in
reality
1
it's
minute.
more of a kind of 4-4-2 diamond. It's kind of odd how it works. So the way it works is that Messi and Mbappe would often work as this kind of dovetailing duo here. Di Maria would come forward for a 4, Neymar would come forward with these guys here. When we get to the final third, it often looked would be like this. Neymar floating about here, Di Maria here, Herrera, and if
This is Joe. Say hi, Joe. Hi. He's a designer. A great one, I might
Friendly
add.
K9 unit incoming.
You can now get a 30-day trial to experience the Athletic for free. Visit the link in the description below to try it now. Sweepers were a defining characteristic of successful teams from the 1960s to the 1980s and beyond. Rugged, positionally astute defenders who patrolled the spaces between their flanking centre-back
safe zone
colleagues
is
and the
collapsing.
goalkeeper, intercepting
Airdrop incoming.
and taking down anyone who got through. The greatest sweepers had, of course, an attacking role too, bringing the ball out and acting as a playmaking defender capable of stepping into midfield. And the greatest, players like Franz Beckenbauer, often also played in midfield.
Airdrop
But the
has
more
been
prosaic
delivered.
sweeper was the more commonly found. Tough players like Danny Blind and Jose Luis
Friendly
Brown
K9
could
unit
play.
incoming.
In a defense-first era, functionality and positional
The last
excellence
revived flight will arrive
outweighed
in
very
1
clever
minute.
passing or ball carrying. Nonetheless, even with
Down
the
to the
recent
last
revival
5
of the
teams.
back three systems that saw sweepers deployed at the centre and central defenders, the old-fashioned sweeper has died off. But why? Well, the answers point to a series of tactical and other innovations in football. Sweepers inherently enlarge the defending area of the pitch. By hanging back off the two centre-backs with man-marking duties, the sweeper added a layer of security, but in doing so, deepened the defensive position of the side. The comprehension of space became a key defensive concept, articulated by the proponents of total football and brought to its zenith by pressing managers like Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp. A sweeper
Friendly K9 unit incoming.
by a high defensive line system. They could receive possession. The technically capable ones brought the ball out, but even the more rugged, defensively minded operatives could still clear the ball from a relatively unpressured position. This has largely been superseded by player development or tactical innovations. Many top-level centre-backs are now more skilled. Centre-back pairings often feature one player dropping off quickly in possession to offer a pass, or it's not consistent sweeping, but is similar. Other centre-backs, like Antonio Rudiger, excel at bringing the ball out. And because back three build-up has changed, it's now often the right position to possess the ball too, with the wing-backs pushing hard to active
Friendly United is incoming.
This match its end with Sheffield United's
Airdrop incoming. Chip terminal is almost ready.
Sit off to receive, but with the skill to do more with love. And the best, like Edison or Allison, are comfortable enough in possession to resist a press with their control and quick feet.
The safe zone is collapsing. Left, getting close to victory.
German football isn't a monarchy, but if it were, I believe it's far above everyone else. At the time of making this they've won by 10 or more points on 8 separate occasions.
So, you finally decided to take the leap of faith and jump on the crypto train at the station. Well, if you want to turn that thought into action, then you need to find yourself in the exchange. Now, two of the most popular options out there are OGs and rising star. But here's the which one is best. Now, in this video, I'll be looking at the pros and cons of these two exchange jobs and so choosing which exchange to trade on myself. So, stick around for all that. Now, folks, before I get cracking, there is something I need to make clear. I have been called many things in my life. A savant, a lunatic, a maverick, even a teacher. However, there is one thing that I am certain of. That is a financial advisor. So, if that's what you're looking for, you better click off this video right now. Now that I've made that clear, I want to say howdy to all the new viewers out there. The name is Guy, your crypto guy over here at the Bureau. This channel is where my team and I are on a mission to help you get from A to B in this crazy crypto world. If brushing up on that crypto knowledge is something you want to do, then you'll want to hop aboard the Coin Bureau train by smashing that subscribe button and gently flicking that notification bell. Do that, and those good people at YouTube will let you know whenever I release another video. One more thing, please observe the timestamps below. You can use them to skip ahead to the sections that interest you in a jiffy. But be warned, doing so means you'll miss out on a knowledge bomb or two. So, the choice is yours. Okay, ready to get the lowdown on Coinbase Pro and FTX? Let's lock and load. Now, to kick things off, I better give you a bit of an overview about who these Coinbase Pro and FTX guys are. If you already know about these exchanges, then feel free to skip ahead. So, what's the situation over there at FTX? Well, they are a global exchange founded in 2017 and headquartered in Hong Kong, one of Asia's leading financial hubs. Earlier this year, they completed one of the largest funding rounds ever for a crypto business. That saw 60 different investors ponying up $900 million at an eye-watering $18 billion valuation. So yeah, pretty damn big. But how has FTX been spending its vast war chest? Well, a decent chunk of it has been in acquiring new users and brand recognition through sponsorships. That includes acquiring the naming rights to the esports organization TSM for a cool $210 million, a 5-year MLB sponsorship deal, and a $135 million deal for the naming rights to the NBA's Miami Heat's home court, now known as the FTX Arena. They even have legendary quarterback Tom Brady and his wife Gisele Bündchen as ambassadors and equity holders for the exchange. Some serious star power. That marketing blitz seems to have catapulted FTX to the 4th largest exchange in the world, according to Coinbase. It's sitting there just behind KuCoin and Coinbase. Not too much